Do you want to be a two-handed Giga Chad like me? Well, f that, cause we're gonna be a two-hander. I call this Omega Chad.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to be going over a build that I came up with influence from Thick. He gave me the original idea that is as close as I possibly can get it to a retail fire mage combust build. Not in the sense that I'm a mage, but in the sense that every 1.5 minutes you are the shit. Like you just pop the F off, you are the top damage, insane DPS, but then also when you don't have CDs, you're kind of a meme. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you guys watch the whole video. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get right into it. Oh, also, we hit 2K subs. Can we get a right? Like, can we get a round of applause for that, boys? Yo, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. So like I said in the last video, I will be giving away a master war chest to you studs. So on this video, I'm actually going to give it away. All you got to do is like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll pick a random winner and I will reply to your message saying that you won. Or if you're on Discord, I'll also DM you as well. So yeah, good luck guys. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And if you guys didn't see my recent message in Discord or on YouTube, I am coming back to YouTube for live streaming. It's been debate for a while now. So yeah, it's better for my channel for the long term. This is my last swap, so I hope I get to see you all there. Still same streaming schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, at noon EST, 6 p.m. CET for all you EU boys. So yeah, I hope to see you guys all there. Let's go into what I started and what I carded. We'll go over REs, talents. This is gonna be a fun one. All right, first, let's go over what I started. So I started Blood Rage, pretty mandatory. The chances of you getting Blood Rage without starting it is pretty rare and is mandatory for the build. I would suggest starting this. I also started Charge. It's annoying to be stuck behind everyone else. That's basically the only reason people take it, let's be honest. I also went Battle Stance for that armor pen, really nice, as well as Fade for when you do have those burst windows up. There isn't really too much wiggle room with your starter abilities. Like you could gamble certain things depending on what you're carding. Like if you really wanted to go like Battle Shout, you could go Battle Shout. I don't know what, like you could maybe gamble the Fade or something. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, so that's what I started. Not really too much wiggle room. Let's go over what I carded. This is where you can get away with some things. Let's go over what I carded. So I carded Death Wish. This is juice, absolute juice. 15% increased physical damage. You do take increased damage, but it lasts 30 seconds. I run REs to get the cooldown to 1.5, so it kind of lines up with everything else. And we'll go over REs. Then I run Rock Biter for that increased attack power. It's double for two-handed weapons. It's disgusting. Blade Flurry is definitely required for this build. It just pops off with your Bladestorm and your Whirlwinds. It's so good, so good, so good. You can swap this out for like Sweeping Strikes. That wouldn't be a terrible option either. I haven't tested it myself, but I know that other people have tested it. And then obviously Titan's Grip is mandatory for this build, so you get that Omega Chad two-hander type vibe. Titan's Grip is all damage is reduced by 15%. However, you get to have two-handers, which are realistically the most DPS on a weapon that you can get in the entire game. And with Bladestorm, it allows for the biggest Bladestorm that you can possibly have. And that leads perfectly into my next segment of cards that are required or cards that you should definitely look out for and could really help you, you know, increase your damage or utility or whatever. So first and foremost, 1,000 million bajillion %, this build requires Bladestorm. This isn't an easy build to roll, I understand that, but I've run out of builds that are like, oh yeah, you can just get this your first prestige. I'm at the point where I'm like prestiging 6-7 times to get the build that I want, and that's kind of like where I'm at in the game, and you know, it is what it is. You know, I actually enjoy prestiging, so I don't mind it, but a lot of people don't. Bladestorm, this build, it literally is, the build is Bladestorm. Like, if you don't have Bladestorm in a build that's just Bladestorm, then, you know, the build doesn't really work. So, if you don't get Bladestorm, you go again, boys, we go again. It is what it is. But yeah, Bladestorm number one Uno priority. That shit's, dude, it just pumps. Yeah, you've seen in the clips, It's just disgusting. Next, Whirlwind is mandatory for your sustained AoE damage. Once you're done bursting, you just spam Whirlwind. That's essentially what you're doing. Whirlwind, Thunderclap, Whirlwind, Thunderclap, Whirlwind, Thunderclap. And then Bloodthirst is going to be your single target. And then we run the RE. Here comes the big one. So Bloodthirst is realistically our single target damage. Very nice, especially paired with the Titan's Grip Mutilate. But we'll get to that. And then we have Thunderclap, which isn't mandatory, but it definitely fills out the rotation. Battle Shout, once again, also isn't mandatory, but once again, just buffs you. You do more damage now, right? So it's like nice to have. But if you got Bladestorm and Whirlwind and all these other things in a build, and the only thing you didn't have was like a Battle Shout, then I would still say that it's probably still worth to keep. And then you just spend marks on it to get that Battle Shout. And then a kick, definitely not mandatory. Some people might get mad at you for pushing higher keys without a kick. That's entirely up to you to find out. I rolled kick on this build, luckily. So yeah, it's really nice. Get those interrupts, especially on DM East, that boss that heals himself. It's super annoying. Berserker Stance. So I was actually blessed enough to get this. Berserker Stance is gross. Gives you an additional 3% crit. Although you do take 5% increase more damage, but like, it. Berserker Stance is so nice. I just want to go as much crit on this build, put as much damage into that Bladestorm cooldown Blade Flurry. Dude, so good. So if you roll that, great. And then Heroic Strike is actually really nice to pair to pretty much every one of your abilities, especially like your Bloodthirst, stuff like that. You have an excessive amount of rage with this build because you have Blood Rage, and that's basically perma uptime. So you're like almost capped at rage at all times. So you can just freely spam Heroic Strike, essentially. But yeah, those are some of the cards that you should be looking out for, and some of the mandatory ones. Now it's time to get into the REs, which is the part that I assume most of you are looking forward to see basically how the build works and how it does the things it does. Like I said earlier, big boy, Titanic Mutilate allows us to wield two-hander weapons, right? But here's the juice part. Here's the juice part. Dealing damage with Whirlwind triggers Blood Rage, which is just insane. Amongst the other things, so let's read the whole tooltip. So we get an attack, it's called Mutilate, which attacks with both weapons, dealing 90% weapon damage, increased by 20% if your target is bleeding. Also, your Bloodthirst deals 5% more damage per active combo points. So at 5 combo points, it does 25% more damage. Really nice. Pair that with the other RE that we're running, which is, here comes the big ones. Every 4th use of Bloodthirst will be doubled in damage. So if we get that paired together, it's just, ugh. And then we run Flurry of Steel, which is very mandatory. This is absolutely disgusting. Basically, what it is your Bladestorm now hits with both weapons, and because we're two-handed weapons, your Bladestorm does the max damage that it can possibly do. 100% worth, 100% juice. And then we run Counterpoise. There's not really much else that I've tried a bunch of things. Like I tried an Execute kind of thing. I tried the Flurry to like reduce the cooldown of Blade Flurry, but then you lose damage because you're using 2 one-handers. So I've tried a bunch of things, and Counterpoise just seems to be the best. Basically gives us 5% melee haste because we are almost 98% of the time above 50% rage. But if you happen to drop below 50% rage, then you get that 3% melee crit, which is really nice. So those are the big boy REs. And the next one I'm going to show you is what I do to have a 1.5 minute burst window that's absolutely disgusting, as well as another option that allows you to have like the same damage burst, but just longer times between doing burst windows, but you have a little bit more sustained AoE if you want to go that option. I personally tried both, and I like having my CDs up more often because Bladestorm just feels so good to press. Okay, so what I run is 2 intensity rage, which reduces the cooldown of my Blood Rage, Recklessness, and Death Wish abilities by 10%. We just use this for the Death Wish to allow our Death Wish to get on 1.41. I couldn't get a 1.5. This is about as close as I can get. I could do another one, but then it puts it at like 1.1 or whatever it is, which doesn't line up with my Blade Flurry and my Bladestorm. So this is just the best of where I got it. And then obviously I run Hasty Whirlwind to get that on the shortest CD as possible. Improved Whirlwind, damage increase, as well as reduce the CD. And then I run 3 Hasty Blade Flurries to get it on a 1.5 to, like I said, line up with the other 2 CDs that you're pressing at the same time. And then I just ran Weapon Expertise to have my expertise increased by 8. To just try to hit that cap. You don't need precision with this build with the talents that I run. And then the other REs that you can run instead of this, if you want to go the more sustained AoE damage. So basically you swap out the Intensify Rage for Unending Fury. You also swap out the Hasty Blade Flurry for more sword spec, and that's pretty much it. Those are the only 2 that you swap out, and then you're chilling. Oh, you also get a dual wield spec as well. Yeah, those are the 2 different variations. So next up we have talents. So first we go 5 points into dual wield spec. We want to make sure that our offhand is doing as much damage as possible because of that blade flurry. Weapon expertise to hit that cap. If you don't need it, don't go it. It's kind of like one of those things. We got 3 points into deadliness for 6% increase attack power. It just juices us up more, you know? And then we went flurry, which increases your melee attack speed by 15% for your next 3 swings after dealing a melee crit. We do crit a fair bit in this build. We do take impale, which increases our critical strike damage bonus of our direct damage warrior abilities by 20%, which all of our abilities are warrior abilities. So this is really, really nice. And then we go sword spec. I don't know whether or not like axe spec could be better. I haven't tested it out yet. Sword spec is really nice because it allows us to hit our hit chance cap. It gives us 5%, as well as 10% chance to get an extra attack on the same target after hitting your target with your sword, dealing 120% weapon damage. This damage is increased by 40% while dealing a single 2-handed weapon. It's pretty nice. I'm going to lean towards sword spec being better, but I haven't tested axe spec. So if someone knows, I'd be down to hear. So we got 5% hit chance there, big juice. And then we go in rage, which increases our physical damage by 10% and our melee haste by 10% for 12 seconds after being struck by a damaging attack while below 15% HP. It's not that good. However, because we have blood rage perma uptime, it's also triggered at any health level by casting blood rage. So this is pretty much up all the time. It's fantastic. You just have an extra 10% physical damage and haste, which is really nice. And then we go dual wield spec again, which increases our offhand damage by an additional 25% and gives us that last 5% chance. So now we're actually at 10% chance to hit. So we're capped. We're good. We don't need any more precision with those 2 talents. As well as reducing our threat by 20%, which is very mandatory for this build. You will rip and you will die. Then we go shredding blows, increases your armor pen by 15% for your next 3 swings after dealing a melee crit. This is the talent that I wouldn't go if you wanted to go the more sustained AoE damage. This just reduces my death wish by an additional 33% to help get it to line up. And then I go improved whirlwind, really, really nice, 6% increased damage, reduces the cooldown by an extra 2 seconds. Blood surge, so our whirlwinds have 100% chance to make our next bloodthirst cost no rage, trigger the cooldown, ignore 50% of the target's armor, mandatory for our single target damage. Unending fury, absolutely mandatory. This is disgusting. This makes basically the entire build. Increases the damage by your slam, whirlwind, and bloodthirst ability by 15%, increases the duration of intercept by 1 second. That's whatever. Increases our blood rage duration as well. The capstone. While blood rage is active, fear effect durations are reduced by 30%. Meh, whatever, right? But a successful whirlwind reduces the cooldown of your next whirlwind. So this is like you have whirlwind up literally all the time. It's great. It actually feels so good. And then I had a couple points laying around, so I just went 2 points into armored to the. That's all of the talents. Basically all warrior stuff. It's pretty straightforward for most melee builds. So, all right. So now we're done talents. We're on to the last segment of the video. I hope you guys are liking the videos so far. These videos are actually kind of fun to do. It doesn't require me to show you the roles because sometimes I try to record these for the roles that I get, but like I said, it can take like 6-7 prestiges, and it just takes a lot of time and effort to record every single one and have positive vibes every single one. Because sometimes I'm like, dude, I didn't get my role again. It is what it is. So let's go over the juice part first. So basically, your first whirlwind, you're gonna want to press blood rage before you go into the pack, right? So make sure you have your buffs up. I think I'm good. So we want a blood rage, charge, pop, death wish, blade flurry. Then we're going right into a BLADESTORM. And as you can see, this is only 6 targets. We're doing about 18k at peak. And then all you want to do is whirlwind, thunderclap. Whirlwind. Maybe mutilate. Whirlwind. Thunderclap. Whirlwind. Mutilate. Whirlwind. Thunderclap. It's so satisfying when you get crits on those whirlwind. Like it just, like that sound is just so nice. Whirlwind again. Boom. Look at the crits, baby. It's whirlwind. Oh. And then before you know it, our CDs are almost halfway up. You go again. You spin again. But look at this damage. Like this is disgusting. We're like sustaining about 9k. It's ridiculous. Our whirlwind is up literally every. What's the cooldown on? Let's see. It's like a 2-second. Like I don't know. It's crazy. It's disgusting. You will rip a lot with this build though. And then before you know it, your CDs are up and you go again. That's the AoE. Definitely where the build shines. Now let's go over the downfall of the build, the pitfall, the reason why some people might be turned off from this build. But yeah, also before you do that big cooldown, before you do your big DPS, make sure you press fade. All right. Or if you have feign death instead, make sure you feign death when you're about to die, because you're gonna die. It generates so much threat, especially if you crit a bunch of times. Yeah. So this is essentially your single target. So you charge in, you want to mutilate, blood rage, whirlwind, bloodthirst. So you only want to press bloodthirst when you have that blood surge proc, which is every other whirlwind essentially. I have a week over for it. It will be linked in the description, as well as the actual build itself. So all you're doing is whirlwind, bloodthirst, whirlwind, mutilate, right? And then obviously when you're juiced up, you press your death wish and your blade flurry, boom, whirlwind, mutilate, and then your next one, whirlwind, bloodthirst. But you really only want to press your whirlwind on those blood search procs, because as you can see, ignores 50% of the target's armor. So yeah, the damage is pretty bad. Obviously I'm not min-maxing right now. I can get about 1700 if I got some good buffs, maybe 1800 single target damage. It's definitely dog shit. Maybe you can make it better. I've tried a bunch of ways. I think TG Mutilate is just not that good for single target, but it pumps AoE. Absolutely disgusting, and I love it. It feels really good to play when you get a bunch of crits, and then those juicy cooldowns with BLADESTORM. It just feels so good to play. It really does. The AoE honestly feels probably better than my Pally. Like it just feels so satisfying. It's just the single target can be definitely a setback. But if you have people in your group that, you know, are single target antis, then it works out perfectly. So I mean, who's, you know, and especially if the tank pulls around your BLADESTORM, if you're like, hey, I got BLADESTORM up, go, and he pulls like a double, triple pack, oh dude, you popping off, and everyone's like gasping, like, oh my god, he has such a big, you know. I think that's the end of my video, guys. I think I covered everything. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for 2K subs. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have fun with this build. Good luck on getting BLADESTORM. Like I said, on Monday, I think I'll be releasing this video on Monday. So make sure you guys come check me out. Be here on YouTube. I'll probably be live streaming as you watch this video. And because I'm back to streaming on YouTube, I'm going to take the time at the end of every YouTube video to thank my members. Those are the people that hit that join button and take the time to support me. I can't thank you guys enough. So with that being said, shout out to Quacky, Mango Tango, Bifta, Andrew Lee, and Austin Potter. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you in the next. Peace.